Hello and welcome to another episode of my Productivity Mastery series. And this week we're looking at designing your perfect week, or rather how to design your perfect week. Now there are some strategies that we can use here, and I want to show you those strategies so that you can see for yourself that you do have enough time to do everything you need to do. And one of the key parts of this is once you've designed the perfect week, you need to then compare that to your existing calendar, your current calendar, and to see where you can make some changes. Now I'm going to show you these steps as we go through this video. Now before we go any further, I would just like to say if you do get any value from this video, then please help me by clicking on that like button below. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, and you want to get all the latest tips, tricks and news on using productivity tools, then please subscribe to my channel. Okay, let's go into my calendar now so I can show you how to design your perfect week. Okay, before we get started, I have a quick message from this week's sponsor. This video is sponsored by Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community where millions come together to take the next step in their creative journey. With thousands of inspiring classes for creative and curious people on topics including illustration, design, photography, video, freelancing, and more. Skillshare has classes to fit your schedule and skill level, and members get unlimited access to thousands of inspiring classes with hands-on projects and feedback from a community of millions. For example, my current favorite topic is minimalism. Having just moved house and office, this class by Erin Boyle is fantastic. It really got my creative energy going and has given me so many new ideas on organizing my office and home. If you're looking for the perfect place to ignite your creativity and learning, then give Skillshare a try. The first 1,000 of my subscribers to click the link in the description will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare so you can start exploring your creativity today. Okay, so what we want to be doing first is setting up a completely blank calendar. Now, I'm very fortunate that I actually have a Google Calendar, which is here, which is my company calendar. This is really my real calendar, if you like, and this is right here. However, I can turn these on and off. So for example, I can turn on my exercise from here and I have my real exercise times in there. But what you want to do is if you do have the opportunity, you can use a built-in calendar app, or alternatively, you can use the Google Calendar. It's entirely up to you. I find using the built-in app is just a little bit more helpful, but this is entirely up to you. What you want to do is turn off your main calendar, your real calendar. So turn that one off. So I'm going to remove that. I'm just going to hide that one. So I'm going to use my iCloud account, which I don't use now at all for my calendar. And what you want to do is to build out how you see a perfect week. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with my fixed appointments. Now, these are my coaching times. These are the times that I am available for coaching. And I've got these already built into my calendar right here. So this is where these are non-negotiable. I have to be in a certain place. I have to be in my office with my computer, camera, and Zoom. So these are the fixed appointments. So that's where you would start. Make sure your fixed appointments are in your calendar first. Next up, I want to add in my work. So I'm going to use my work calendar, which is called CPI. So I'm going to tap on that. Now this I've already done just to save us a lot of time. But this is what I would like to do at the right time. So let's just go through this a little bit. I need to write blog posts and podcast scripts. So I've got basically, I think it's 4.5 hours of time to do my writing time each week. Now, one of the things that I've added, which isn't in my current calendar, is I need some time each week for creative time. Now, this is just for me to brainstorm ideas, and that's what I'm building into it right now. So I'm going to give myself, I do intermittent fasting, so I usually have my breakfast around about 11 a.m. So 12 p.m. is a great time for me to sit down. I'm not feeling hungry. I'm not feeling hangry or whatever. So I thought, right, immediately after breakfast is a good time for me to sit down and do some creative time. Because usually round about 1 or 2 o'clock, I will take my dog for a walk. And that's usually about an hour. So I'm going to do that creative time 4 days a week. And that's going to be on a Monday, a Tuesday, a Friday, and Saturday. Now, obviously, this is where you have complete freedom, and it's why you need to turn off your current calendar. You need to have a blank slate about how you're going to get your work done. So moving over here, what I want to do is I want to add in my time for recording these videos, and I need some time to sit back and just be able to do my business development. That's coming up with ideas for moving my business forward, and also doing my weekly planning session. Going down to the evening, now I usually have dinner around about 6 p.m. So I realize that 7 p.m. immediately after dinner is a good time for me to do my communication time. This means to me that I'm responding to messages and my actionable email. I have a fixed time for that each day, simply because it's got to be done each day, and it's much better to group it all together and chunk it, as Tony Robbins would call it. I also have some admin time. Now, currently, I do my admin at 10 p.m. And that's not really going to be sustainable, because one of the areas I found that one of the weak areas I have in my life is getting enough sleep. As you can see, currently, I'm working until midnight on a Friday, and I'm also working till midnight on a Monday. And I really need to get control of that so that I actually have a cutoff point at 11 p.m. Now, ideally, I don't really want anything scheduled between 10 and 11 p.m. That's not always possible. For example, Friday nights, I do need to have that later hour so that people on the East Coast of the US, the East Coast of the US are not having to do coaching calls too early in the morning for them. So that's why now I've set myself in this perfect week. My goal is to really compound things so that I'm not starting too early. So I don't really want to be starting at 6 a.m. because that's just not sustainable, because that means I would have to wake up at 5. I wake up an hour before I need to do anything. So I really want to be finished and in bed by between 11 and 11:30. That is the goal now. So I have my admin time, which is currently done after my calls. I'm going to be doing that before my calls. So I've got a 2-hour block, usually between dinner, and I've put these times in. Now, remember, I'm not concerned about working 9 till 5 because I have to do coaching late at night because of where I live. I'm 17 hours ahead of California, and I'm 9 or 8 hours ahead of Europe. So I'm always likely to be working either early in the morning or late at night. So my time off is the afternoon. So what do I do in the afternoon? Well, I can put my personal time in now. So I've got my morning routines. I've actually scheduled in when I'm going to have breakfast. So you can see here I have breakfast a little bit earlier on a Thursday because I start coaching calls at 11. But I've got my breakfast essentially at 11 a.m. I've got my creative time, but then I've got this free time here. Now, part of what I'm going to do in my free time is I need to exercise. So I'm going to put in my exercise time now, and I want to be doing that round about 2 p.m. So I take the dog for a walk at 1 o'clock. And then I'm going to do my exercise at 2 p.m. Now, I really like the idea of fixing this in because then it becomes non-negotiable. It also becomes a habit. And it also means that while I'm doing coaching calls on a Saturday afternoon for Europe and for Asia, I do have time before I do my calls to do my exercise, take a shower, and then I'm ready for my calls. So building this out is like to give you like a template to work towards. Now what I can do is I can turn on my regular day. So I'm going to turn on my CPI and I'm going to compare it to where I'm at the moment. So if you look at here, these have come up. So let's just turn them off. So I've adjusted my writing times and I've added creative times. But you'll see that currently my communication times is at 5 o'clock. My admin time I've got down at 17:30. So I've made some minor adjustments and added a few things here. If I put in add my personal in there, you can see that, well, if we go into next week, you can see it's looking really messy now. But if I put in my personal here, it's the same color, but I got morning routines at 6:30, which is really not practical, and going down there. And then if I add in my exercise, currently that's at 3:30, but I'm really wanting to do that at 2 o'clock, so I'm changing that as well. But the idea is that you try to merge your current calendar with your perfect week calendar, if you like. So I'm going to turn these off again, so I don't want you to makes it look really messy. So turn these off again. This is the goal. This is what I'm going to try and do over the next few weeks. So I've got we've got something doubled up in here, and no, I don't know why that's come in twice, but let's just remove that one, and maybe I'm going to just remove only this event. So what I'm hoping to do, something's come in. Anyway, so what I want to do is I want to just remove these ones. So there we go. And so this is going to give me a really good idea about what I want and how I want my week to be scheduled. And this is really one of the best ways to do it, because it gives you that opportunity to see where everything is. And I've lost my coaching course. That's because I haven't organized them in the way that I wanted to. So we'll go back to this week. So there you go. That's how I want to build my week. I still have time for exercise each day because I've got that built in right here. I've got time to have some rest here and here. And I will spend that time with my wife. We usually take the dog together, so I get family time. My wife is usually busy in the evening anyway, so I can do all my communication time at that point. I mean, what am I going to do? I'm either going to be sitting down watching television or reading the news, which is very depressing, or I can actually do something constructive. I'm going to do something constructive. You know, even if we had kids, I would be looking at maybe this time here would be like kids' time, but perhaps if they had a young family, my kids are going to be home around about 4 o'clock, so I'm going to do that. Now, remember, I'm self-employed. I have a lot of flexibility over my schedule. You may not, but still, managing to look at your calendar, even working out your daily work schedule so you can fit in some blocks of time to do like the key work. This is like my core work here. These like need time. I need time each day for creative ideas, and I need time each day for doing my email. So I need to get that put into my system so that I make sure I've got time each day for doing it. So hopefully that's given you some ideas. Remember, start with a blank calendar, preferably in a completely separate account to what you actually use for your main calendar, and that will give you a template. Then all you need to do is turn on your current calendar and see where you can make adjustments to your existing calendar to try and match it to your perfect week. Hopefully that's given you some really good ideas. Thank you very much for watching this episode, and it just remains for me now to wish you all a very, very productive week. Hello, thank you very much for watching my videos. Now I have something exciting to tell you about. Recently I have developed a brand new time management system. It's a system designed to manage your time in the 21st century. The world has changed a lot over the last 20 years. In fact, it's actually changed a lot this year. And what we need now is a system, a time management system that is very easy to use, easy to maintain, so that you can spend more of your time doing the work. And that's what the time sector system is all about. It's going to change your whole belief system about the way a time management system should work, because this focuses on when you are going to do the task. And let's be honest, it doesn't matter how motivated, inspired, or how urgent something is. If you don't have time to do it, it is never going to get done. And that's what this system is built around, getting your work done, so you can spend more of your time doing the things that you want to do. I hope you join me in this course. The full details of the course are in the show notes below, so please join me, and thank you very much for watching this brief video.